What's up YouTube? Back at it again with another banger video. We are returning after a brief hiatus to our Crisis on Infinite Earth series. This is part 9, Warzone. This is the villains issue that I mentioned a few parts ago. We get this great crowd image that George Perez is so good at. Our story starts on Oa with the Guardians of the Universe electing Guy Gardner as their soldier for the Green Lantern Corps when a wave of negative energy hits the planet and causes an explosion. This is from the destruction of the antimatter cannon in the last issue. And it kills all the Guardians of the Universe except for one. We cut to Brainiac's ship where Brainiac and Luthor have been recruiting a team of their own. You see a lot of the big villains from the DC universe. We have Chemo, Black Adam, Sinestro, Black Manta, Eclipso, Solomon Grundy, a lot of them here. This is another thing that's in a lot of these issues. There will be just one page that is a sort of a crossover with a different book that was going on at the time. This has nothing to do with the rest of the story. This is only a crossover with the Teen Titans book. And this plot line isn't mentioned again. It's never resolved within this book. If this were a modern day graphic novel, this whole plot line, this page right here, would probably have been cut out. Because here they're talking about how Starfire, she's meeting her people and they're keeping a secret from her that they really have like someone that they plan to marry her with. You know, she has like a betrothed husband, but she's dating Nightwing at the time. And it really has nothing to do with the rest of the story. So we'll just move on from that. Cyborg is patrolling the city when he comes across this place called the Warp Zone. Now, because they overlap, you see them occupying the same space with like dinosaurs in the future. All times are sort of happening all at once here. So the news media is there and they're interviewing different people from different eras in time and getting everyone's reaction to what's going on. Meanwhile, Superman in his Clark Kent identity, he is an anchor right now. He's no longer just a reporter for the news. And he's reporting on the happenings that are going on. And while most of the superheroes have been on Earths 1 and 2, all of the supervillains have been left on the other 3 Earths to take over, since there's no one there to check their power. And you see that that's what's happening here. The UN is having a trial for Alexander Luthor, for Lila, and for Pariah. And while Pariah is on the stand, he teleports away because, you know, he teleports to wherever the danger is. And as he teleports away, a hologram of Brainiac's head appears. So the Brainiac hologram appears and explains that while all the heroes have been on Earths 1 and 2, that the supervillains have been able to seize control of the other 3 worlds in existence. And they're essentially holding these other 3 worlds hostage. Luthor explains, as my computerized compatriot has stated, our forces are now in control of the 3 Earths. We demand that your nation surrender, or we will unleash forces which will destroy these 3 Earths under our control, and being linked as you are, your 2 worlds will be destroyed as well. For years you persecuted us because we upset your views of conformity. You have, 15 minutes, long enough to decide between life and complete annihilation. So, of course, Clark Kent sneaks away, becomes Superman. He meets up with all these other superheroes, but they find that they've been trapped in a force field that Brainiac created that keeps them from going and saving the people on the other 3 Earths. It also explains down here that Wally West, Kid Flash, has been retired, that he's no longer part of the Teen Titans. That's when Lila and Jay Garrick show up at his house and ask him to come out of retirement because they need him. They need speedsters. They need him because the only way to get to these other worlds without having to break this force field that Brainiac has set up is to use the Cosmic Treadmill, which you will know if you're familiar with the Flash comics. So they rebuild this treadmill, Everyone's nervous about the trip they're about to take. They're not sure if this treadmill will still work, but it does. Of course it does. And they're transported to these 3 other worlds, and they're able to fight off the bad guys. And Luthor and Brainiac here are talking about the odds of their success, and Luthor says, who cares how many guys we lose? We still have the numbers, and since we're in space, if we need to destroy all the Earths, we can. But they don't know that they're being spied on by a shadowy figure. Again, this is another subplot that comes in, I guess, in the Aquaman comics at the time. There's a character named Tula who gets poisoned by chemo being in the ocean. You know, he's releasing this radiation into the ocean, killing the ocean life. Here we just see more of the battle. This is on Earth. This is on Earth X. We get a meeting of Poison Ivy and the Floronic Man, which are 2 villains who would seem to go hand in hand. The Joker's here. We've got the Freedom Fighters are all tied up. We got this worm guy. I forget his name. He's from the Shazam comics. Here Lex Luthor says, unfortunately, despite our control, Brainiac, the battle is still weighed evenly on both sides. But that's fine with us, isn't it? Sure, we'd like our side to win, but it's hardly essential to our goals. Let them all kill off each other. That's what I say. So you can see that Lex Luthor really doesn't care about anyone as long as he gets what he wants. And at the end of the story, Brainiac, he short circuits, something's going wrong, and he explodes. And we see that the shadowy figure who was lurking in the background was Simon. And when he hears that Luthor plans to kill off everyone, he decides that it's time for him to sort of jump in and not change their plans, but instead of joining them, he decides that he's going to keep their plan going, but instead of them being in control, he's going to usurp them. And he's killed Brainiac, and he's preparing to kill Luthor. And that's the end of the issue, the cliffhanger. And it ends with, next, at last, the final fate of the multiverse. So please join us next time. We'll cover this issue, Crisis on Infinite Earths, issue 10. Thanks for watching. See you next time.